What's up, everybody? Ben here with another video, kind of starting a series, I think, on this X3. I bought this used from a buddy of mine. It had 3,500, 3,700 miles on it, something like that. It's a 2017, and I'm really not sure the series or the rest of the name, because Can-Am is so confusing with their naming. But it is a 2017 Can-Am X3. I think it's called an XRS, but I I'm not sure. There might be another X or a D or a C or something in that name, because if you go to their website, they have like 40 variations of the Maverick. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this is a Maverick too. So, anyways, there's a lot of people that are way more familiar with X3s than I am, and here I go. I'm a Yamaha guy that ended up with an X3. I've loved this car since my buddy got it. It was the first X3 I had ever seen, and he's one of the guys that buys the car, takes it home, and takes it all apart. So I might be in the trend here. Same thing I do with my Yamahas, but he did this with his X3, and this was like the first year of the X3, right when they came out, and first cage that I had ever seen on one or anything. And I remember I've just always liked the car. So I'm not sure what brand the cage is, but it's really low. It has like a chopped look to it, and it wraps around the back. And I just love it. I've always loved the lines of the car. I like that it's low. The doors are pretty cool. I was with him when he bought these doors at the Sandsport Super Show. He had another set of doors on this before that he didn't like, or they didn't work right or something. And he used to have some graphics on the doors, like a splash part, with a wrap or something. I'll see if I can find pictures of the way it was before. But it's pretty neat. And last year I was kind of, my whole life was upside down last year, and things were weird. And anyways, I sold my old YXZ, and I only had Brooklyn's red YXZ here, my daughter's. So I really needed a second car in a hurry, and he was building a new X3, and I picked this up from him for what I thought was a fair price. And it's just, it's used. It needs some work. So that's the reason of this video series that we're gonna do on YouTube for it. I'm gonna kind of redo this thing. I'm not gonna like strip it down to the frame and rebuild it from the frame up or anything. I'm just gonna kind of freshen it up, I think. I want to change the color. As much as I think that this candy red is pretty, I mean, I agree, it is pretty. I don't know. I have this mental block against sporty things having a off red color. So like a maroon or a metallic or something like that. So I'm going to change it. Not 100% sure what color I'm going for yet, but I'm thinking maybe silver. I was considering doing like a neon car. I talked about doing that with my son's YXZ, which ended up being this one, all blue. But so I was thinking maybe like neon yellow, neon green with like neon pink and other like neon. Well, name your neons. Just very kind of like 90s style neon colors. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But I'm either going to wrap it or paint it. I'm not really sure yet. I've seen a lot of painted X3s that look pretty cool, because a lot of these, even the rough plastic, what I call the rough plastic, is paintable. I've seen a lot of guys painting these. So I'm going to keep the same cage. I'm going to keep the windshield, keep the roof. I'm going to, I think I'm going to keep the stock axles and arms and just paint them. I know I want to change this or powder coat them. I know I want to change or add the bulkhead. Weller Racing sells the TMW setup. So I think I'm going to do that, because this I think is the stock radiator shroud and bulkhead thing. Anyway, that's a known weak point on the X3s, because that front end is relatively brittle. I know I've seen them break several times before. It's just a piece of plastic that joins the top shock towers to the frame on the front side of it. So technically these shocks are single shear bolt. You know, that bolt is only attached to the frame right here. This is just a little metal bracket that's hanging onto this piece of flimsy plastic. Is not actually supporting anything. But so the bulkhead, I think, is something I certainly want to do, that front piece. And I don't know if it's compatible with this bumper, so I think I'm gonna have to change bumpers also. Not sure about that. But I'm considering some other arms as well for both front and rear. I've seen some pretty neat ones from various companies. I think I'm gonna have the shocks freshened up, maybe revalved to your newer spec. He really didn't do much with the suspension. It's it's whatever the factory springs are. So they are triple rates, as you can see there. And it has a Fox tune. I don't know if he sent them off and had the valving redone, or if he's just adjusted them. I'm not really sure. I don't really care. I'm going to send them to Weller and let them do their thing to them. The car sits really low, which I think looks great. And honestly, it rides fine. It has no anti-sway bars. So that's one of the reasons why the low ride height is a plus. So I think I'm going to pretty much keep the ride height where it's at. It might raise a little bit whenever the shocks are redone, but so. These are radius rods from Badass Unlimited. I was also with him whenever he bought these at the Sand Sports Super Show. They're polished. I love polished aluminum. I think I'm going to keep those the way they are. I'll probably get rid of the decals though. I don't like them like that. The seats will have to be changed as well because they're red. So I'll probably sell these seats and get some others that match the color scheme of the new. Not sure again what I decide to do. The main thing I dislike about this car or X3s in general is they're so plasticky. You know, the front end is made up of like 30 different little plastic pieces. You know, you got this little thing, you got this little thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. Some are painted, some are rough, some have a sticker on them. And you know, the dash, the inside, everything is plasticky. And I'm not knocking specifically on the X3 here. I know all side-by-sides are very plasticky. So yes, my Yamahas are too. But that's the one thing that I really dislike about this car. So I'm going to kind of minimize the plastic, I think. I prefer a slimmer look on pretty much all my cars. So these over fenders I'm going to get rid of. They're just like, I don't know if you'd call them mud flaps or what, but they're an accessory from Can-Am. Those might be aftermarket models. I'm not sure, but I think they're a Can-Am accessory. I'm going to get rid of those and go back with just kind of a smooth look. You know, without those on there, that's just kind of a straight line. It makes the whole car look more like a open wheel Indy car, F1 car is kind of the way it strikes me, with the wheels just completely out hanging on their open, out in the open, hanging by themselves. Also the bed. This toolbox is nice. It's convenient. That's where the spare belt is, and a belt tool. Plastic stuff around the exhaust back here too. I see a lot of guys get rid of that. So I'm going to figure out what I can and can't delete back here. I think I'm going to at least keep some sort of a bed, but I'm going to consider like a bed delete, and then some sort of aftermarket like metal plate or something like that. I did that on my old YXZ and loved it. I thought it was a really cool hot rod look. It has the S&B particle filter separator. This is the only one I've ever owned. Lots of my buddies use these. They swear by them. I believe in it. I believe in the product. I believe in the way it works. Gravity filters are proven. There's no doubt about that. But I don't put them on any of my Yamahas because I think a good Donaldson that you service, you just take the filter out and replace it or bang it out or occasionally do whatever you got to do for service, I think does as good with your filtration. The S&B is fantastic, but it's adding more bulk, and it's also adding current draw. Since it's powered, it has fans that run and they draw power off of your battery and charging system, and that kind of stuff really adds up over time. If you got radios and you got lights and you're driving at night and all your lights are on and blah blah blah. So I think I'm going to get rid of the S&B. And I also think that will help me eliminate some of these plastic chunks that are back there as well. So I'm going to consider an aftermarket dash, or maybe kind of minimizing the plasticky feel of the factory dash. This is an early model, like I said, 2017 is the first year of the X3, and this gauge cluster has been updated on the new models. That's one of the first things I'll notice whenever I walk up to a X3 on the inside. The I don't know what year, maybe it was 2021 and the 22s. They have new gauge clusters, which are kind of all digital, and then the dash is quite a bit different as well. Some new mounts and stuff for other parts that are on the newer model X3s. So that's it. This is kind of intro. I'm going to kind of start taking it apart, and if I can get like new seats and stuff like that in a timely manner, then because a lot of everything's on back order nowadays. It takes 6 months to get something made, but as long as I can get seats like in a month, and a new clutch too. I'm gonna have that updated, refreshed. I might change models. I don't know. I might just update the one that's in there from what is that? STM. So clutch, seats, the air filter, things like that. I'm gonna refresh. Maybe the bumper. Those items might be for sale, as long as I can get the new replacement that I want in a timely manner. So I know some of those things are in pretty high demand. A lot of people like these clutches, and the seats. Seats are cool. I like the seats. He also got these again at the Sand Sports Super Show, and they're cool. They sit down nice and low, and they hug you good. But they just happen to be the wrong color for where I'm going with this build. And also the seat bracket is lowered to clear the low roof. The seat bracket is lowered, so I lost the ability to adjust it. I can no longer slide that forward and backward. It's locked in that spot, and so I'm going to replace with new seats and assume seat bases to get that functionality back, because some drivers that have been in this car have to sit on a pillow. My daughter has to sit on a pillow whenever she drives her YXZ, and others, it's just kind of like out of the question to even operate this vehicle because it's so low, because you have to be tall and to even see over and to reach the pedals because the seat doesn't adjust. So I'm going to kind of undo that so it's a little more flexible for some other drivers, because this car is kind of like my loaner car, if you will. It's kind of like my backup, so I don't really drive it most of the time. So it just sits at the sandbox, and I'm driving my YXZs normally, and one of those, and then the X3 is kind of like the extra car that is loaned out to other people, so that's one of the reasons I want the seat to be adjustable. But that's all. This is just a intro to it. I forgot to mention, when I bought this car from my buddy, he had Method wheels, beadlocks with matching powder-coated rings. It looked really good. And he had SCR, Sandcraft Demons tires in the back. He had 14 paddle Demons, which is a hell of a tire. That's a big paddle, big tire. And they were great for this car. It matched the power pretty well, I thought. And then, the Sandcraft fronts are kind of like a buffed tire with a very small, smooth tread down the middle. Really, it doesn't have any tread, but anyways, he had Sandcrafts on this before. I changed to these because I had really been wanting to try the SR31 Blackbirds from STU and the Tribute fronts. And I knew the car needed a large diameter tire because the Sandcrafts were 32s. And I did not want to drop down to like a 30-inch on this car. So I'd kind of been looking for an opportunity to try the Blackbirds, the SR31 Blackbirds. And so I put these on here with Packard wheels. This is the first Packard product I've ever bought, which might strike you as strange whenever I'm such a Yamaha YXZ fan. I got these Packard beadlocks and SR31s from Duneland, had them race cut. And long story short, they're honestly not as good of a tire on this car for this power level as those SCRs were. Those Sandcrafts Demon 14 paddles were a damn good fit. And the clutching, I thought, and the power mods on this car were about right for those 14 paddle Demons. This car has an Evo kit on it. I don't know the name of the kit. It's some funny combination of letters and numbers. It has to run 100 octane, and it's supposed to be about 180, 190 wheel horsepower, which is pretty good power. But the check engine light's on. The fueling has not always been right. There's been some times where we ran like VP 110, which is a leaded fuel. And so I think the O2 sensor needs to be changed. I might have some of the power mods changed around as well. I would love to run 93 pump gas like I do in all my other cars, but I don't want to lose a lot of power. I might lose some power, but I'm not going to lose a lot. So I might have to adjust some of the hard parts, turbo, intercooler. I know this thing already has bigger injectors, but I'll look into that. But that's all. Like and subscribe if you want to see some X3 content for the build progress on this vehicle. Bye.